Welcome to Violet Light Tarot. This is the Capricorn reading for June of 2020. To all my Capricorns out there, welcome. This is for your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and all cross watchers are also welcome. We have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. We also have for your choices the Hematite, Tiger's Eye, Aventurine. This is a pick a card reading for anybody who's not familiar with this setup, and basically the idea is that somewhere within one of these three or more than one of these three is your reading for June of 2020. You are welcome to pick more than one set if that appeals to you or draws you in. You can pick either by favorite number, by the crystal, by site. We'll also be doing a small meditation for a moment for those of you who prefer that as a method. I'd like to take a moment now, though, to invite you to our varying platforms, which can be found with links in the descriptions and in our main YouTube page as well. We have our store where we're offering individual personalized readings of varying types, written, video, or live. And also there's the Instagram where we do a reading every 2 days. We also have Pinterest, which is a holistic Pinterest, so there are boards there regarding tarot, of course, so what cards are good to find in spreads for varying circumstances or events in your life. And also boards can be found in there as well for self-care, essential oil recipes for varying needs, etc. There's also our Twitter where we keep up to date with all of the other platforms, so whenever a notification is set out for a new video, new Instagram, new what have you, or if there's an event that we're going to be live at as well. Also, just if you have a moment, please take that second to like this video. It helps the channel a lot, and also to subscribe. And the notification bell is also available to you, please. That will notify you when readings are created and uploaded, and we're doing weeklies as well as readings for retrograde that's happening for Mercury. That's coming up next week, and also of course the end of the month when we come back and do what did Capricorn learn, or what was Capricorn's takeaway from their June experiences, as well as of course the future readings for July, August, etc. So right now, sit back, relax, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, breathe out, open your eyes slowly. Whichever pile your eyes were drawn to when you opened your eyes, that is the pile that's meant for you. Timestamps will be in the description and top comment for those using a mobile device. See you in a moment in your pile, Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, so this is your first pile, or the Hematite crystal as well. For pile 1, I have 8 cards, and we're going to go through, I'm going to flip them over and show them to you as they're set down. If you see anything that concerns you within the cards as we're flipping them over, don't get worried just yet. The message that's meant for you for June is meant to be all of the cards laid out together, okay? So we're starting out with the Four of Swords. We have the Hermit. And the Page of Cups in reverse. We have Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. We have self-forgiveness. Let go of old guilt and remember that you're God's perfect child. Now remember that on this channel we don't adhere to labels necessarily, so what some of you may identify with as God, others may identify with as the universe, spirit, the divine, what have you. Everything is welcome, everyone is listened to and heard. We have Angel of Abundance. letting go. And for your shadow today, we have Oya with deliverance. Okay, Capricorn, so what I'm seeing with this so far is, just by taking just the tarot to start off with, you've got the Four of Swords, which speaks of rest. So it could be literally that June, they're asking you to take a rest, or you've just come out of a period of taking a rest. But it is followed by the Hermit and followed by the Page of Cups in reverse, which means a delay, or something where the message of love and affection is not being provided, or is not being received or sent out. So you've got a rest and a Hermit, which means that, I mean, those two go together, right? But you do have the Akasha sign here with regard to being divinely guided. And so it's basically saying that where you are right now and where you are through June is where you are intended and meant to be. It is a time though, and this is why I'm thinking that maybe this rest in this Hermit stage is basically your June take a break kind of time, is that you do have self-forgiveness. So it's basically, it's asking that you let go of old guilts and remember that you are divine. You are who you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be that person. So each stage that you go through as you're growing, you are meant to be at that stage at that time. So if you have something that happened to you recently, or maybe not even so recently, maybe you've been sort of beating yourself up a little bit, asking yourself, why did I allow this to happen, or why did I do that or act that way? This is the time in June when you're being asked to just hold up, take that rest time, and really just forgive yourself for being where you were when you were there. So forgive yourself for not knowing what you know now, not having the level of awareness, the level of wokeness that you do now, and that you were responding and reacting and being exactly as you could be at that time with what you had been provided by them. So this also speaks to I'm just going to jump ahead for a second because this does speak to your shadow work for the month of June. The shadow work for you is deliverance, which is basically asking you to deliver yourself from the guilt that you've been feeling about not being as good as you thought you should have been at a time when you were never meant to be that good. Things play out as they're supposed to play out, unfortunately, sometimes. And that can mean that we lose people, we lose jobs, we lose a lot of different things. And sometimes we don't react, or sometimes we react instead of pausing and being insightful. Basically, you are being delivered from that, and you're being asked now to deliver yourself into a mode of forgiveness and of rest and just taking a break and seeing that that event could not have happened any other way. That as much as you want to go back, as much as you want to do the hindsight is 2020, as much as you want to sit and go through all of the possibilities of what if I had done this, what if is a dangerous game to play. Speaking from experience, it's not your friend in any way. The thing to always remember is that you were being the way you were at that time because of the way everything had been presented. Maybe you were feeling tired because of other things. Maybe you were feeling left out of conversations or neglected from people's lives, and because you were in a state of being that maybe was foreign to you, or scenarios took place and you ended up being in a position where you did something that normally you never would have seen yourself doing, or you reacted a certain way that you never would have reacted because you always see yourself as being stronger than that or better than that or whatever. There are times when it's almost an id response, if you're into psychology, where the child part of you just reacts to things because you're too tired, because you're too heavily burdened by all the things that people are being asked to do on a single day, you know, you're expected to only be awake for like 18 hours out of a day, or 16 hours out of a day if you're supposed to get 8 hours sleep. And yet you're still supposed to get an entire drive from home to work, etc., plus 8 hours of in-work, actual job working, plus if you have a family, you've got kids, you've got spouses and their things and everything else. And somehow we're all supposed to cram this all into like this tiny, minute amount of time where literally you need 3 times that much to do everything you need to do. So things do explode sometimes. Things do get left behind, forgotten, missed out on. When you look at things afterwards, sometimes you see where you should have or could have, or if only. And that's the danger of it, is that you really couldn't have, because at the time you were exactly in that moment and there was no way for you to necessarily step out of it to get that bigger perspective and then come back in. It's a lesson to learn for the next time, that if you are in a situation that may be provided to you where you do have that opportunity to step out, or you do feel yourself heading in that direction, that you recognize and take that second to pull back, look at everything, think about what you're going to say, think about what you're going to do, and then act as opposed to react. But you needed that initial time, what just took place recently, you needed that initial experience of the reaction and maybe the regret you've been going through to learn for the next time. You have to have the first instance of the mistake before you can learn from the mistake, and before you can have the lesson available to you so that you are doing things correctly the next time and the time after that, etc. We do have letting go, which again actually goes around with this as well. So literally, I mean, the whole thing for this is you're being guided at this time to go into the hermit stage, to rest, to work on self-forgiveness, to deliver yourself by letting go. And don't forget, you do have the angel of balance here. So the angel of balance is literally exactly what it is. It's he or she, the angel, is there to assist you, as your guides are, in finding yourself again, so that throughout the month of June you can literally find that balance, literally find yourself, go through all of these stages. Don't rush through them, go through them, experience them. This is what I have for you, Pile 1, for Capricorn for June of 2020. Please leave a comment. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know if there's anything that you'd like to convey regarding this discussion or regarding just where you're at in general. And hope to see you on future readings. Thank you. Bye. Welcome to those who picked Pile 2 or the Tiger Eye Crystal of Capricorn. These are your readings for June of 2020. We have 8 cards for your reading today. I'm going to flip them over and show them to you individually. Don't get too nervous if you see anything that looks worrying to you or concerning. Let's look at all the cards as a complete spread, as that is your message. We're starting off with the Page of Wands. In reverse, sorry, the Page of Wands is in reverse. There you go. We have the Queen of Cups upright. And also we have Judgment, but it's in reverse. We have Protection. Call back your power. Cut the cords. Soul retrieval. Pay attention. Notice repetitious signs and your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable information. We have Man holding a coin. Beauty. And Sheila Nagig with Desperation. Okay, Capricorn, so what I've got for you for June of 2020 is I'm seeing that there is a delay in a passionate message that's meant for you. So it could also be a delay in your providing a passionate message to someone else as well. Now, this passion can be romantic. It can also be with regard to business or finance. It doesn't really say as into what the passion is regarding. Let's keep going and see if we can figure that out. So you do have the Queen of Cups upright, which I think is actually referring to you as your energy. Now, if you're a man watching, it's just feminine energy that's depicted. And what that is it's more intuitive emotion rather than actual concrete emotional standing or romance. So you are heightened in your intuition of romantic situations or in being in your essence of your emotions, but you're intuiting those emotions as opposed to being master of them at this time. We do have the Judgment also in reverse. Now this could be with regard to that message that's missing and the fact that you have the Queen of Cups. The Judgment in reverse it's either that a judgment is being held back, which could also be the message that's coming in. So it could be that something you've been waiting on with regard to a decision from somebody, whether it, do you want to move in together? Do you want to get together? Do you want to do something else? Do you want to start a business? The Judgment is currently, it's in limbo at this time. And it could also be that you're having a bit of a moment where you're not sure how you feel about a certain thing or what to think about a certain thing. You're using your intuition with regard to your emotions, so you're basically feeling out your own feelings for June. But your judgment, it may be a little bit skewed. Remember that there is such a thing as what they call rose-colored glasses too, which means if you're really into wanting something or if you're really just letting your heart run away with you, sometimes you can see things in such a way that isn't maybe the actual factual reality. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that you're seeing them through emotion and not necessarily so much logic, which isn't bad. It just could skew your judgment. You could be more affected in one way or the other with regard to decision making. You do have also the protection though, so that's actually a positive point at this time with everything that's been going on. It is asking you to call back your power though, so it's maybe asking you to pull back on the intuition and bring out the actual judgment. But it also does say on that same card that soul retrieval. So it's asking also at the same time that you sort of bring your own individual self back from the situation. So most people, when they're in either relationships, partnerships, friendships, sometimes decisions are made based on the collective. Sometimes decisions are made based on what's best for the couple or the group. So the request right now from Spirit is soul retrieval, is to come back to yourself, to find where you are with regard to decisions. It does say to pay attention to, so pay attention to exactly where you're at and look for repetitious signs. So remember that we're talking about having intuition, so you're looking for signs anyway, and you're looking for things to see, but be careful when you're looking for the signs, especially with your judgment being a little bit out of whack maybe, to really pay attention to what emphasis you're putting on those particular signs that you're seeing. If you're seeing repeating numbers, if you're seeing favorite colors of somebody, if you're thinking about a choice between two people and one say has brown hair and one has blonde hair, and you keep seeing, magazine covers with people who are blonde, or people walking by you on the street happen to all be brunette, and you're kind of going, for some reason you're picking that up as a sign that that's your choice, and you're kind of paying attention to signs that are not meant to be signs the way you're seeing them. So the man holding a coin though, it could be with regard to somebody who's coming in to help you with finance, or it could be yourself and having sort of a more masculine energy take on finance as opposed to other people coming in to help you, but you actually coming at it from a more masculine, or what they classify overall as like a stronger perspective in sort of hard won reality or earth as an elemental based energies. The beauty card, when mixed with the desperation card, though, too, it comes together for me for your shadow work. They actually work together, and your shadow right now is asking you to be very careful with regard to how you're feeling about timing. It could be that you're currently experiencing a little bit of that, I'm getting older, things aren't moving any faster, I have to do this right now, or this isn't coming fast enough and I'm kind of running out of time, or something to that effect. And the request right now from the spirit is to hold back on that desperation, because that desperation is actually sidelining you. The desperation is partially helping to keep that message at bay. It's partially helping to keep the judgments askew. And it could actually be why your judgment is askew, because you're feeling that need to rush everything. So take a moment while you're paying attention to things to pay attention to the beauty as well. Not just the beauty of aesthetically, but the beauty as in life itself, as in your situation and where you are versus where you could be. So Capricorn, what I'm seeing is, I know that normally Capricorns are very like analytical and very, this needs to be done now sort of thing. But what you're being asked is to, sorry about the noise, you're being asked to hold back on your desperation or your rushed feeling or basically mindset, and to take a moment to take in the actual beauty, or the actual beauty of a situation that you're in and what's going on around you, as far as not like the world at this time isn't what you would normally call beautiful, but also there is beauty within the world at this time. You have, it's spring and you've got blooming trees and just actual aesthetics going on. But it doesn't have to necessarily just be that. It could be the beauty of being alive right now. You are protected in what you're doing, don't forget, but you are being asked to pay attention to what you're actually, literally paying attention to what you're paying attention to. Because with your intuition being heightened right now and your judgment maybe not being so heightened, your attention needs to be sort of realigned to your sort of earthbound energies and the actual reality of what's going on in your situation and where you currently are at. And once you do that, I think that once you're getting yourself back into paying attention to what's really there, bringing your soul back into where it's supposed to be, which is with you, that you will get to the part where your judgment goes back into alignment the way it should be, and that message of passion, it will come in, so that you'll actually have the success that you need to have, which may, because of all the aligning and because of all the requests for paying attention, this isn't going to be something that's going to happen right this second, because it's asking you to be careful with your desperation. So it's asking you to take the time to really invest in these practices. So you're being asked to sort of show that investment throughout June. That is what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope you have a wonderful month. Please do leave a comment. Let us know how you're doing, and we'll see you for future readings. Thank you. Bye. Welcome back to pile 3. This is for the Capricorns who picked the 3rd pile, or the Aventurine Crystal. We have 8 cards in your pile today, and we're going to turn them each over so you can see what they are. Hold off on any judgment regarding what the outcome may be, as all 8 put together make out your actual message for the month of June. So we're starting out with the 4 of Wands. We have the 4 of Swords in reverse. And the Hierophant in reverse. We also have, excuse me, sorry, my voice went. We also have the Lemuria, which says, creating heaven on earth, it's happening. We have Tranquility. And it says, make time to relax, be still, and enjoy your solitude, indulging in much needed self-care. We have storm warning. We have choices. And we have peel with transformation. So Capricorn, I'm very excited about this reading that we've got for you. This spread is looking very positive. We have the Four of Wands, which always talks about celebration, coming together. If you happen to be involved in or wanting to get married, it speaks of that as well. And the Four of Swords in reverse. Now the Four of Swords upright requests or speaks of needing to rest or take time away. But being in reverse, right, it can be one of two things, and we'll keep going through the spread, but the two options are either that you haven't actually gotten to the part where you're resting, or you're now coming out of that rest and ready to proceed with all of the fun. You do have the Hierophant in reverse though as well. The Hierophant can speak of religion, but it can also speak of just being spiritually minded, or just in tune with what's going on right now. And the Lemuria is asking that, it says creating heaven on earth, and it's happening, which between this and the getting together, it tells me that you are currently either looking to maybe host a party, get a party going. And like I said, it could be a wedding or an elopement, depending on the size of the group and what your area allows. Now, it could be that could actually also be why the Hierophant's in reverse, because if right now you're working on a marriage or something, and the clergy or whatever your choices are for your particular belief systems, they may not be available right now. So you may have to go with something more secular, like a judge or a courthouse or something like that, where the union it's still a legal union, it's still a viable union. It's just not necessarily a religious union. Not that that makes it any different in any way or any more special or wonderful for you. It's just that I'm taking that as a possibility for one or two people that are watching. Is remember, this is a collective reading, and not everything is going to resonate with every single person watching. You do have the Tranquility card, which is asking you to be aware of your self-care at this time. So taking care of yourself, which could again speak more to the celebration and, getting your, hair done and all that you've been wanting to do for a while for this party. Or it could speak to just taking time out during all of the planning and working together. Just take that time out for yourself as well, to just rest throughout. You are coming out of a rest though, remember, so it's not asking you to take time like an actual extended period. It's just asking you to remember to take maybe a few hours and go lay in the grass and read a book, or go and have a bubble bath, or whatever your idea of self-care is. But it also refers to making sure that you're getting enough rest each night, sort of thing as well, so that you are able to come out strong and enjoy whatever festivities you're planning. There is a storm warning, and the storm warning to me is just, it's literally stating that the spirits and guides are asking that you take this time to remember your self-care. And the storm warning is basically because if you don't, it's not saying that this whole thing will fall apart. It's just saying that you won't be at your best to be able to enjoy and experience what's happening. So I see it literally as a warning, as opposed to an impending, not threat necessarily, but an impending event. I see it more of a warning, as long as you follow through with what Spirit is requesting, and as long as you follow through, again, free will obviously, but as long as you kind of follow through with your self-care, take care of yourself, take care of what you need to happen, then you should be okay with smooth sailing. There is the card here of choices, as well as a card of transformation. So transformation is actually your shadow card for the month. It's what you should be working on, and partially what you're afraid of. So you might be a little concerned at this time regarding the state of the world as well, especially with, depending on where you are, whether things are still in isolation, things are still locked up, or impending second waves, as they keep talking about, where, you know, things may actually close down again. So you're worried at this point where this transformation may take place. So you want to have this party, whether it's big, small, whatever. You want to have this event take place, this wonderful, happy time, but you do have a bit of a concern regarding any kind of transformation with regard to the state of where you are. Will lockdowns proceed? Will things become better or worse by the time this event takes place? And it's also asking that you sort of keep your options open. So choices for me refers to, in this case, do you have other options? Like if you can't have, I keep going with wedding. I don't know, something's telling me that this is a wedding. And maybe you can't have your wedding where you wanted to have it, and sometimes because it's, you know, a church hall and people aren't supposed to be congregating in large groups at the moment. But it could be that you are able to have you and your close friends and maybe family, depending on how many people, at someone's backyard with a nice, you know, archway or something. Or you can have it out in the park with lovely pictures and like with the trees in the background and the grass and everything. So it's asking you to really consider choices. And instead of worrying about transformation in a bad way, maybe turn your shadow into a positive and think about the choices and options you have to transform what you may have thought of as your big event into different possibilities, so the event can still take place, but just in a different setting or at a different time than you were hoping for, so that instead of actually postponing, actually having to, that could be it, actually having to rest, actually having to like hold off and not do it at this time, and literally turning this into a reverse, as in canceling the whole thing. Look at your options, look at your choices, and actually transform it yourself in a positive way, so that you can still have everything happen the way you want it to. But remember also, Capricorns, that you are being asked to be mindful of your own self-care. So you're being asked to be tranquil at this time. Don't stress about things. I know, the worst thing you can say is don't stress, is like don't panic, right? But be tranquil, be mindful that whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen. So if you are meant to be married to this person, if you are meant to have this particular union or party or event, then it will happen. You just may have to have it happen a little bit differently than you were initially planning. So this is what I have for you, Capricorn, for June of 2020. Please leave a comment. Let us know how you're doing and what kind of event are you planning exactly. And hopefully everything works out for you. Hope to see you soon. Don't forget that we're doing periodic readings throughout the month, and to come back at the end of June to find out what lessons or takeaways you were meant to have as a Capricorn. Have a wonderful month. Thank you. Bye.